I think kind of the main thing with this, I think kind of what we're both most excited about, is the migration or the multiple migrations that come in the spring. So, I mean, basically, you just get, other times of year, you've got your nuthatches, you got your cardinals, you've got your wrens, your sparrows, but spring it just completely explodes. You get these, they look considered tropical birds.
Which ones?
Warblers.
No. Tanagers they're neotropical. Like tanagers are, I think orioles are too. Warblers are kind of. I mean, they're migratory, of
Okay.
course, but like
Yeah.
I don't know if they're necessarily tropical.
Well,
Um,
you get these almost like exotic birds. I mean, they
they
are
they look
exotic. Yeah.
they look like compared to I don't know. It's just I think it's just the variety of colors and this like the style of bird. Like there's just so many different kinds that like pass through during, especially during spring migration, of course, that like are unlike anything else you see. I think is that kind of what you're going for?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's
Uh-huh.
just it's something that it's magical once you see your first warbler and you realize how different they are, from the common species you see throughout the year.
Yeah.
Um, and it's really a challenge because if you know the songs of warblers, you'll hear them like all the time in the spring, but to get them
Yeah.
to come down low and to get a nice frame filling shot of them, it's very challenging. I know for me, I've only last year I didn't really focus on warblers. I only got like maybe two shots that I liked. So
Yeah. It just comes with practice too, I guess. But yeah, it's definitely a good point raising is like there's so much going on in spring in general, but like even if you're honed in on birds, everything is singing at once. Like literally from dawn till dusk, you'll hear the robins before sunrise, and then middle of the day, you're still hearing stuff, and like none of the birds are shutting up, which
mhm,
in of itself isn't a bad thing because that just means like birdsong is about finding a mate and establishing territory and stuff like that. So
mhm.
I mean, it's for a good reason for to ensure their survival, but like it also helps us as birders to like find them and identify them. And if you can master a lot of those woodland warbler songs or anything that migrates, like it'll pay dividends really in just your discovery and sightings of them as well.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm getting there on the songs. I've been studying my guidebook, so I'm
That's
getting there.
good.
Yep.
Yeah, the problem is there's so many of them too, so it's like
Mhm.
trying to remember all of them, and then like if you're in like a hemlock mixed forest, like you got all this crap going on, like sounds, and it can be overwhelming. The spring in general is overwhelming, but it's like it's exciting too at the same time.
Yeah, it's it's just very crazy, like the amount of the research and the excitement. Like this guidebook, I've been diving way into it, and there's just so much that all the habitats and you're thinking, oh, I've probably I've walked through this habitat in spring, and I'm sure it's there. I just wasn't smart enough to stop and wait for it. So it's really just I suggest if you don't have a guidebook, just do some research online. Pick a couple target birds. Um, we'll get into those later. Ryan and I both have lists, but pick some of those. Look at their habitats. Try to memorize their songs the best you can, and just go out there. You might find other things, and don't be afraid to shoot those too. But if you look for those target birds, you'll eventually find what you're looking for. So
Yeah, for sure. Even going to much more, I guess, concrete example is just like listening to the songs of the most common birds, the non-migratory birds, and learning those, and then you can, basically upgrade to these other birds that are much more specialized, we'll say,
mm-hmm.
and like I feel like it helps because then you can differentiate and go, oh, I'm hearing a blue jay, I'm hearing a robin, but that right there sounds different, and I know that's probably a migratory species, and you
Mm-hmm.
can go from there using like an audio recorder or I don't know some kind of like audio ID app or just asking people if you're with a group or something like
Yeah, I think Merlin does that actually. That audio
yeah
ID.
just oh dude, okay, yeah, they have that
Uh-huh.
option now.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's a great point though. Filtering it out, you can rule
Yeah,
out what it is not, and yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the best examples is the blue-gray gnatcatcher. You ever had any encounters with that?
I have not. No.
Oh, really? Dude, yeah. I mean, like in April, I guess. Yeah, April and May, I'd say especially, but they stick around for most of summer. They're this super tiny bird, but they're kind of like I don't think they're in the kinglet family, but they're kinglet-like in the sense of they bounce around and never stop moving. And they're very tiny, very cutesy little like kind of baby blue kind of bird with an eye, I think it's like an eye ring, a white eye ring.
Hmm.
Um, and they make this little like buzzy sound, and like they're very approachable. Like they'll be right in front of you. They'll bounce down the lower canopy. They'll be eye level. They just kind of bounce around and flit about, and they make this little like buzzy sound that's indistinguishable in spring. And so I hear it all the time. And getting shots of them, I'm not gonna say it's easy, but like it's very possible if you're patient. So like if you hear one, just stop, look up, look around, try and find it, and then zoom in on it or be patient until it gets a better view of it, and then photograph it.
I've probably heard it so many times before too, and I just didn't even know.
Yeah, look up the audio. You'll probably have.
Hmm.
They're pretty common, at least in my neck of the woods. So they probably are for you too.
Yeah. So you want to go ahead and get into some of the target birds we've outlined here?
Yeah, sure. I guess one species. It's more of like a photo opportunity I'm waiting for. It's one species I hear plenty of times. I'll say in spring. One I've seen a couple of times through my lens, but far away, so it's not like it's basically a documentation shot. That'd be the northern parula. That's probably one of the most indistinguishable like bird song I would say overall. I mean, like that descending trill or ascending trill of like the. I'm not even gonna try it. Should I try it? It's like a, and it just like it stops on a single note. So it rises and it just like cuts out
Great
instantly.
job. Great job. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I tried.
I could
They
feel it.
do.
It was right there. Yeah.
I immersed you in spring now. Yeah,
Yes.
but they're a very beautiful looking bird. They have like a yellow throat and breast and like a almost like a sky or slate blue back
Hmm.
and stuff. They're very striking and beautiful, but
Very unique for sure.
yeah, unique in plumage, and the song itself is very just I would say honestly easy to spot out. It's probably one of the easiest warbler song to identify, especially in early mid spring. I think they're one of the earliest arrivals here in Midwest. So yeah, I mean that's one that I'm always looking forward to seeing or hearing. That is, or both. But getting a photo of is really tough because, like with most warblers, they favor the higher canopies for whatever reason. So yeah, so you probably heard the dreaded warbler neck, and that is when
Yep.
you look up so much. Yeah, we've all been guilty of it. When you look up so high and you're trying to look for those birds, and because they're all just high up in those trees, and it's hard to get a good view sometimes.